The question asked is, does the president have too much power? We're going to answer that question as best as possible. First and foremost, we need to bring up a concept called checks and balances. Checks and balances is basically in place to make sure that no branch of government is overpowering the other one. And the branches of government are legislative, executive, and judicial. Legislative includes Congress and the Senate. Executive is the president and government agencies, and judicial is the Supreme Court. Uh, and legislative, we have Congress and the Senate. Does the president have too much power? Uh, Congress, in my opinion, has more power than the actual president does. And here's why. In the legislative branch for Congress, they are actually the only ones that can fully declare war on an entity or a state. And they are also able to create laws. Now, the executive branch, the president, commander in chief, and other government agencies are supposed to carry out these laws and decisions. So that's what we're going into. And also, the Senate can reject Supreme Court appointments by the president. So they can say no, they can put him back in place. And also, Senate can impeach. Congress can impeach as well. They would need a two-thirds vote to do that, to get a removal of the president if it comes down to that. And also, the legislative branch can also refuse to pass laws drafted by the executive branch. And also, they can refuse to appropriate funds for executive programs such as the military, homeland security, things of that nature. And the executive branch is the commander in chief. Execute. You execute these um, certain laws, certain rules, certain certain points that are given by Congress, and also the president has the power to veto. Veto is basically a a stoppage, an executive stoppage to what is being detailed. If there's something that is being passed that the president does not agree with, he can veto it. But then also, vetoes can get overruled by the Congress with a two-thirds vote. So that comes back in with checks and balances to where the president, yes, he can say no, but the Congress can get together and majority rules and say yes. Now, um, Congress is actually the closest branch of government to the people. So an act against Congress is an act against the people. So when Congress steps in and determines certain things can go through, cannot go through, they are speaking on the behalf of the American people. Um, and also, Congress can also impeach. Congress can also impeach. What people don't realize is that yes, the president does have powers. Um, President does have powers, but president is more so a figurehead more than the most powerful person in the world. The powers of this country actually come through Congress. We elect a president to represent us. We elect a commander in chief to execute and to lead our country into greatness and to serve, honor, and protect the Constitution at all times. That is what the president's job is. Congress actually creates laws, refuses laws. They can remove Senate members. They can also remove Supreme Court justices. Uh, so I do not believe the president withholds too much power to the point where we're calling him a dictator or he can pretty much do anything that happens. No, most of the stuff that gets passed through is off of the work of Congress, the Senate, and the Supreme Court working together, and an executive branch, the president, to ensure that these laws are in place for our country moving forward. Now, has there been having too much power can sometimes get misconstrued by somebody abusing their power. When someone abuses their powers for financial or political gain, that could come off as having too much power, but things there are certain things that the president can do that is written in the Constitution that if he stays within, then he is all good to go. But for the most part, is if something were to happen or the president does enact certain things to become power or overexert the powers, we have Congress, which is the voice of the American people, to go ahead and intervene when necessary. So to answer that question, I do not believe that the president has too much power.